Bad Romance, the Vicky White story, a 2023 new Lifetime movie that is ripped from the headlines. This is a true story about Alabama correctional officer Vicky White, who made headlines and captured national attention in the spring of 2022 after helping her prison inmate lover, Casey White, escape from lockup at the Lauderdale County Jail in Florence, Alabama. Like Bonnie and Clyde, the couple went on the run, destined for any place where they could finally be together in total freedom. But at what cost? Well, in the true story, we know Vicky decided to end it all by ending herself. Listen, this movie, Bad Romance, the Vicky White story, it is a bit depressing. Lifetime wanted to capture that. I believe producers wanted to capture that just depressing tone of Vicky's life at the time. You know, of course, Vicky, she had everything going for herself. I mean, she really did. She had everything she needed financially. She was financially secure. She had a lot of friends. She had people who cared for her. And, the only thing she was really missing was that romance, right? But she threw her whole life away for love, for prison love. Now, there is another movie that came out about this case last year. It's called Prisoner of Love. Now, I think that was a good movie too. In that movie, which I don't even think a lot of people saw that one. But in that movie, they gave a little bit more detail. And it was a little bit more, it wasn't sad at all. It wasn't sad at all. And like I said, it did give more detail. But this, when you finish this movie, you're going to walk away feeling a little bit down, because I think everybody probably felt bad for Vicky. She was a human being and she had feelings, and she did make the wrong decision. And it hurt her, of course, the worst in the end. So, I think you're going to walk away liking the movie. I think you'll like the way that it's done. Perhaps some of the people who are from her community, they may say, maybe they won't feel that it followed the true life events. I think that it followed pretty close. I think it followed the true events pretty closely, in my opinion. So at the beginning of Bad Romance, the Vicky White story, we are introduced to Vicky White. Now, Vicky White is a middle-aged correctional officer. She seems to have a very dull, boring life. In fact, in the movie, she says it. She tells, her mother that her life is just boring. It's just dull. That all changes when a 6'9" inmate named Casey White is transferred to the facility. Now, Vicky doesn't know it yet, but this is going to be a real-life fatal attraction. The romance starts, it starts sweet and it starts flirty, and then it escalates. And before long, Vicky is in love with this prisoner. They try to steal some time away. She sort of stands near him so that she can, see him when he's taking a shower. And before long, they're stealing time away to be together so that they can have more private time together. You see, Vicky had some authority, so she was able to steal a little bit of time away while no one was watching.
Right here. Got the window here. That was the point given.
But at the time, this was the only cell that Vicky had a curtain installed in. And according to Lopez, it was apparently when just one inmate, Casey White, would use the shower that she would stand where she could see.
So, Vicky got caught up. It happened over a period of time. He wore her down with his sweet words. And before long, Vicky is carrying on an affair with a prisoner. There are intimate phone calls. There are prison love letters, the kind that makes a girl's heart melt. Because what man in the real world is taking the time to regularly write love letters? Close to none. So Vicky, she hadn't heard those sweet things in a while. And I mean, she was 18 years older than him or something like that, almost 2 decades older than Casey. In the movie, I think her mother, she kept trying to get her to date older men, and she didn't want that. In her mind, she's like, no thanks. I'm dating a man you don't know about, a prisoner, Casey, and 18 years younger to boot. So Vicky, she wasn't going to do that. She was tired of dealing with men her age and older men. She didn't want a man she'd have to take care of again because she had already done that. She did that with her former husband. She was a good-hearted woman. So now it was her time. She wanted Casey because he made her heart beat fast. She wanted passion. She wanted to feel alive. And none of the prospects that she was seeing were doing that for her, right? So Casey, like a lot of inmates now, he was charming. He knew how to listen when he needed to listen and be that, that supportive listening ear that she needed. They know how to fake that. They know how to be that way because, number one, they have time to do it. And their focus is you. And so at times he seemed like this gentle giant, right? But he had a tough side now. Casey had a bad side. He was a bad man. He was. His record shows that he had a scary side. He had a very scary background. And Vicky was attracted to that. She just was. And a lot of women are. A lot of women are attracted to inmates because they're tough. They look tough and maybe they want to feel protected, and maybe they, want to feel like they feel that something is forbidden. It's something that society won't accept, and it's just the two of them alone in the world, and the focus is on each other, basically. And though I don't think that most prison wives, I don't think most of them would be willing to break their guy out of prison. I don't believe that. And not every man in there would put his wife on the outside in jeopardy. I know a lot of them would, but I don't believe that all of them would. And so that's why I really have a hard time believing that Casey really loved Vicky. She loved him for sure, but I don't think he loved her. I think he probably at times felt that he did, because according to his record, he had sort of erratic behavior. So if he had erratic behavior, he also had very erratic emotions, right? So one day he was going to feel like he loved her and he was going to shower her with that. But then the next day, there is no telling who Vicky would be getting. And let me tell you this, we know that his personality changes because we have the testimony of his former girlfriend. We know what happened to the former girlfriend, right? We know about his former behavior and how one minute he can be as calm as ever, and the next minute he'll jump on you out of nowhere. And he likes to grab objects. So I really, really don't believe that Vicky had any idea what she was really walking into with him. She was definitely prepared to leave. I think she had thought that through, and I think that she was prepared to probably not live through it. Yes, I believe that, but I don't think that she thought that would come at the hands of Casey. I really don't. I think that he would have shown her a different side to him. I think he would have shocked her. I think she would have found herself, if they had made it to the border or if they had made it to wherever they were going, she was going to see the real Casey, and it was going to scare her out of her mind. She was going to look up at that 6'9" giant and be in a situation she was not going to get out of. And there is no telling how she would have passed away. It probably, based on his past actions, it probably would have been in a much worse way than what happened to her. Right? So at the end of the Lifetime movie, Vicky plans to leave. She surprises everyone and by telling them that she's leaving. And why is she leaving? Like, she's retiring. And why? She's not even, it isn't time for her to retire. She needs to be there a few more years to get her full pension, I believe. And she was giving that away. She was throwing that away. She had already started losing things with him. And I know for a fact that when a woman is in a relationship with a man, when she begins a relationship with a man, and it doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman, this can go both ways. When you start losing from the very beginning, you're going to continue to lose. It is going to be a lose-lose situation. And I don't care what it is that you're losing, whether it's family members, whether it's friends, whether it's furniture, I don't care what you lose. If you start losing, then usually it's going to continue to be that way. Not in all cases, but most of the time it won't end well. And so they were shocked because she was a good worker. She was dependable. She was well respected, and she's turning in her retirement. And then, the very last day, here she is having to transport Casey to a mental health evaluation. And she does this without the assistance of anyone else. And then they disappear. So she doesn't come back. And at first, based on his record alone, they thought that he had snatched her, that he had taken her away. They knew immediately she was in danger, but they had no idea that she had left with him. In the Lifetime movie, Bad Romance, the Vicky White story, I believe, if I remember correctly, one of the guards came in and told it and said, I think that there may have been more to it. I think that they were involved. And of course the boss, he was completely taken by surprise. Like, what? Not Vicky. And this does not happen, especially with someone like Vicky. And so they really had to get in gear and see if they could find them. Right? And the town was shocked. The town where Vicky was from was shocked. And no one could believe that she had run away with him. And so there was so much speculation. There were people online. There were people in Facebook groups. There were people in forums online. Is she still alive? Did she make it? And there were even a few people in the community with the attitude of like, go Vicky, go Vicky. It was kind of like that attitude by some. And I know in the other movie about the case, Prisoner of Love, I believe a family member of Vicky's had that attitude as well. Now, in that movie, I don't think that it was her mother. I think it was just a relative. But who knows if that really happened? That probably was just added in. But anyway, she left. She was going to give up her home. If you see pictures of her home, she was willing to give up her home. Her house was over $200,000. And she sold that house for $95,000 cash. So she was just literally throwing everything away for this guy. And it wasn't going to work out. It wasn't. It never does. It never works out. Very rarely does a relationship with an inmate work out. I don't care how loving it seems. And there are some guys in there who are some good guys. And Vicky saw that. She thought she'd seen that in Casey. I'm not sure why, though, based on his record. But from my understanding, she had met other inmates in there who she knew were good guys, but they had gotten caught up in something. However, I don't think they had the type of history Casey had, right? And so it's just a sad situation all the way around. The Lifetime movie, in the Lifetime movie, she says, I don't think anybody would come to pay their last respects to me. And it made her sad. It made her sad that probably no one was going to show up, but she was wrong about that. Almost 200 people, I believe, came to pay their respects to Vicky when she passed away. People from work, people from the community, family members, they were all there. They were there. They were there to support her, right? And, and as far as Casey, who really knows how he felt? We really don't know. I'm saying that I don't think he loved her, but, maybe he did feel something for her. I just don't think it would have lasted, right? We don't know because he had his own mental health issues to deal with. And if you've ever dealt with anybody with issues like that, they have a story too. They have a story too as to why they are that way. So, listen, I think you guys will like the movie. Do some research if you want on why women marry inmates. There is some compelling research. There is some interesting research that I looked up because I wanted to know the answer too. Why do women like bad guys? And I think I read that a lot of women feel that they weren't protected when they were younger, maybe, and that's why they're attracted to dangerous men. Some women are attracted to danger, period. Some women are attracted to the actual crimes that they committed. I think we see that in the case of people who would be interested in like Charles Manson or something. Some women are actually attracted to the guy because of the type of crime he committed, right? But I think the majority of women who get involved with inmates, there's something inside of them that makes them want to nurture them. The majority want to nurture them. And they're usually very compassionate and they have a big heart and they want to help the guy. Especially if they feel like the guy changed and the guy's telling them, I've changed and, but that kind of thing just doesn't ever work out. Even when they get out of prison, most of them are not going to be suitable partners for whatever reason. Either they'll end up going back or they may not have the resources, or they may not want you when they get out, right? Or they could be dangerous. Like in Casey's case, I think that he would have been dangerous for Vicky, right? So it ended terribly. And at the end of the movie, the part that kind of made me sad, actually it made me sad a lot. I think it was her that said at the end of the movie, she said, "This was the best time of my life," or something like that. And I thought, lady, oh my God, there's not that much love in the world. There's not that much love in the world to help him break out, to lose everything. No. But that's how she felt. That's how she felt. Well, I think I've talked enough. Take a look at the movie. Let me know what you think about it if you wish to comment on that. And it comes out October 21st at 8/7 Central on the Lifetime channel. Okay? That other movie you can see right now. It's called Prisoner of Love. I think you should take a look at that one before you view this one. It's actually really good. Thanks for listening, and be sure to subscribe.